Hello, this video is going to show you how to use this tool to make some distance and time graphs and determine the speed at different points along the graph, as well as the average speed. So you're going to open the tool, and it's going to look like this. On this tool, the only place you're going to enter any information at all is right in here, where it says distance mile, starting here. This column, this area here, this is the only place you're going to enter anything at all. I would advise don't click on anything else. You might mess up the text. You can always backspace and fix it, but it's best only to click in this area. And this is a 1 hour, so it's 60 minutes. It's a 1 hour graph. And so we've got the time right here. You're going to put in the distance traveled for each time period. So these are 5-minute time periods, 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the way to 60. But every increment from here to here and here to here and here to here is 5 minutes. So how far something goes in that period of time will determine its speed during that period of time. Now, everything's going to start at 0, so you're always going to put a 0 right there. So I put that, and watch this, it makes the graph show up here. But there's nothing on the graph. So in the first 5 minutes, let's say that this object went 5 miles. And I'll put a 5 and hit enter. And this tells me that the speed was 60 miles per hour, which is correct. If you go 5 miles in 5 minutes, that is 60 miles per hour. But let's say that I went a total of 6 miles after 10 minutes. Now my speed's down to 12 miles per hour. But this 12 miles per hour is for this period from 5 to 10 minutes, because I only went 1 additional mile in this next 5 minutes. So I went 5 miles the first 5 minutes, then 1 more mile the next 5 minutes. And let's say I went 2 more miles, so then I'm going to make it 8. So notice my speed increased because instead of going just 1 mile in 5 minutes like I did between here and here, I went 2 miles. And so now my speed is 24. Let's say now I go 3 miles, so that'll be 11, because 8 plus 3 is 11. And notice my speed is increased to 36 miles per hour. So if I go even faster, 4 miles in the next 5 minutes, that would be 15. Then my speed's 48. And then if I go 5 miles in 5 minutes, we'll make this one 20, then my speed is 60. Now, these speeds are the speed for this period, this 5-minute period. So I went 60 miles an hour between 25 and 30 minutes of travel. And my distance was 15 miles, and then I went an additional 5 miles, and now I'm at 20 miles. So it's very important to understand what this graph is showing you. So this is the total miles. So it's not, well, it's the total miles from the start. So that's why the number is always going to go up, always going to go up. Now, this average speed down here, this is the average of how far I've gone, 20 miles, and how long it's taken me to go that far, 30 minutes. So even though at this point I'm going 60 miles per hour, my average speed is still 40 miles per hour. And so as I add numbers, let's say I go 40. Well, if I went to add a 40 here, that means I went 20 miles in 5 minutes. That's really fast. That would be 240 miles per hour. That's not really realistic. Let's say if I went an extra 10 miles. So there we go. So if I went 10 miles in 5 minutes, that would be 120 miles per hour. So it's also pretty fast. What if I went 7 miles? So 20 plus 7 is 27. It'd be 84. Now notice, to make the speed change, I can just adjust this number here. So let's say I wanted to figure out how to get this 84 to be 81. Well, 7 miles in 5 minutes is 84 miles per hour. What if I went 6 miles? That'd be 72. What if I went 6.5 miles? That'd be 26.5. That'd be 78. 26.75 is 81. There we go. So I have to use some decimals, but this would be 81 miles an hour. If I went 6.7 miles in 5 minutes, that would be 81 miles an hour. So you're going to use this tool, and you're going to have to play with these numbers here to make these speeds what you need them to be. You're going to use this tool to complete this assignment. Let's take a quick look at how these challenges work. So this first challenge here is the most basic. Challenge 1. It says the speed is a constant 15 miles per hour for the entire 16 minutes. And this graph right here, this just shows you what the speed should look like for every time slot. So as you're doing these challenges, in this one here, they're all going to be 15 minutes. In challenge 2, there's a bunch of question marks because this one here says the maximum speed at any time is 84. So someplace along here, you have to have a maximum speed of 84, and then the average speed needs to be 50 in the end. So you have to figure out what combination of speeds would make that work. And then challenges 3 and 4 are a little more complex, but you're going to use this graph here as a guide to see what the speed should look like as you go, and then follow the instructions. And this one here is the most complex, but I would just, well, do what you need to do to manipulate the distances to make these speeds right. But let me show you how you do. For example, number 1 here. So you want the constant speed to be 15 miles per hour. So if I go to my graph right here, so I want this speed to be 15 miles per hour. Well, we'll start this at 0, okay? And now I need this to be 15 miles an hour. Well, if I do 5 miles, that's 60. So that's too much. What if I did 1 mile? That's 12. So I need a little bit more. Well, 2 miles in 5 minutes is 24. So it's between 1 and 2. What if I went 1.5? Now I'm at 18. 1.3. That's 16. How about 1.25? And there we go. Now I have 15 miles per hour. So now I need this one to be 15 miles per hour. So if I go 2, well, then I'm at 9, because this means I only went 0.75 miles in 5 minutes. What if I went 2.5? And there's 15. Good. Because if I went 1.25 miles an hour in the first 5 minutes, well, I probably want to go 1.25 miles per hour in the second 5 minutes, which means here, if I do 2.5 plus 1.25, that's 3.75, and there's 15. So then I can go 5, and so on and so forth. So that's how you would figure out this one here. And notice how I had to manipulate the numbers a little bit to figure out how to get the distance correct so that I could make the speed correct. And then obviously we've got this chart right here that fills out, and you're going to take a screenshot of this entire graph, all of this information. You're going to take a screenshot, and then you're going to paste it on the template that's in Google Classroom. So good luck.